Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some wisdom from Generation X, those of us who grew up in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. From latchkey kids to indie rock rebels, Gen X developed some unique values that feel like they're fading away in today's world. But maybe they shouldn't be. Let's talk about 7 Gen X values that are hard to find these days. 7 Gen X values that are hard to find today. Value 1. Not taking everything so seriously. First up, let's talk about one of my personal favorites, not taking everything so seriously. Gen X knew how to laugh at life, even when things got tough. Growing up with The Simpsons and Saturday Night Live, this generation learned how to joke about the absurdities of life. Nowadays, it feels like people take every comment, post, or opinion as a personal attack. Today, everything is a trigger. Gen X's ability to roll with the punches and find humor in tough situations is something we could all use a little more of, don't you think? Value 2. Being skeptical and doing your own research. Remember the days before Google? Gen X sure does. Back then, you couldn't just look up an answer in 5 seconds. You had to dig for it. Growing up during scandals like Watergate, Gen X became the question everything generation. Today, we have access to more information than ever, but Gen X reminds us to always be skeptical. Don't just take things at face value. Dig deeper, do your own research, and trust your instincts. A little skepticism can go a long way in today's world of clickbait and fake news. Value 3. Pursuing financial security and entrepreneurship. Unlike the boomers who climbed the corporate ladder, Gen X learned early that traditional job security wasn't a guarantee. Economic instability in the 80s and 90s meant that a lot of Gen Xers pursued side hustles, freelance work, and entrepreneurship. In today's gig economy, that Gen X mentality of creating your own financial path is more relevant than ever. Whether you're starting a side hustle or pursuing financial independence, Gen X proves that being your own boss is a valuable pursuit. Value 4. SelfReliance. Who remembers being a latchkey kid? Gen X grew up coming home to an empty house, making their own snacks, and managing life on their own. That self-reliance is something they mastered, and it's becoming rarer today. Sure, convenience is nice, but Gen X reminds us that knowing how to handle life's challenges on your own is a skill worth holding on to. Whether it's cooking a meal or fixing something around the house, a little independence goes a long way. Value 5. Frugality, saving money. Frugality wasn't just a choice for Gen X, it was a way of life. They lived through recessions, the dot-com bubble, and the Great Recession, making them experts at saving money and cutting back where necessary. Many of our grandparents survived the Great Depression and taught us how to save money for a rainy day. We all learned that money didn't grow on trees. So many of us Gen X adults reuse, recycle, and even save our spare change. Wherever we can save money. If money is tight, we can find ways to tighten our belts. We are survivors. Value 6. Listening to negative feedback. Here's one we all could benefit from: listening to negative feedback. Gen X grew up in a world where criticism wasn't sugar-coated. Whether it was in school or at work, feedback, positive or negative, was seen as a tool for growth. Consequently, when a coach told us we weren't good, we took it as motivation to get better. We turned the negative into motivation. Even good could be improved upon. Today, we sometimes see people getting defensive or offended by any form of critique, but Gen X shows us that embracing feedback, even when it's hard to hear, is the secret to improving yourself and your work. Value 7. Going outside. Finally, let's talk about something simple: going outside. Before smartphones and streaming services, Gen X spent their free time outdoors, whether it was riding bikes, playing sports, or just hanging out in the neighborhood. We didn't need to carry water bottles. There were water hoses everywhere. With all the digital distractions we have today, it's easy to forget the joy of stepping away from the screen and enjoying nature. Gen X reminds us that sometimes the best moments happen when you unplug and just go outside. So what do you think? Are there any Gen X values you wish we'd bring back? Whether it's not taking life so seriously or embracing frugality, these lessons from Generation X can definitely help us live a more balanced and grounded life in today's fast-paced world. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below on which Gen X value resonates most with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the old school ways are worth holding on to.